We're coming on a full moon in Sagittarius, and um, I wanted to talk a little bit about the Sagittarius Gemini axis of the tropical zodiac. I am teaching a course on the tropical zodiac, and it's a system that it's not necessarily constellations. So I had one of my students ask me recently, so when the moon's in Leo, so it's in the constellation of Leo, and I was like, well, maybe sometimes that lines up, but in general, this is a system, and it's a mathematical system because it's 12 signs, and it moves through each season, and each sign has an energy and an element, and it's also degrees. So it's something that's actually completely separate from constellations, and may have been in alignment at one point, but it is and it is separate from that. It is a system, and it's a system to move through the energies of the spring and the summer and the winter and the fall. There's a very symbolic and purposeful meaning to every season. And there's a whole association with physiology. So the body coordinates different parts, different signs through the year. And there's a way of focusing on these different parts to help balance ourselves out with our health. So, and that was a system that was created long ago, and it's amazing that Dr. Carey came up with this system, putting the man or a body inside of the 12 signs with the head at Aries and the feet at Pisces. He figured out that there is a whole relationship with each part of the body through each sign. And that's pretty amazing. Synchronicity. And then he applied the homeopathic mineral salts, because homeopathy was still pretty popular in the time that he wrote, which is in the 1930s. But before that, homeopathy was really a well understood method of healing and balancing the system. And it's sort of over time just been, degraded, but it still exists. And I've been working with these mineral salts for about a year to balance my system. I first started with silica because I was having dry eyes, and silica, is amazing for that, for styes, because I was trying to get styes. And I was like, oh my God, then I had this wound that I got from stepping on an old piece of redwood, and I was able to clear the infection with cell salts and clear all the debris that got into my leg. It was crazy. So, and I've used it, and now I'm working with the salts of Gemini. So there is a whole thing when we're like in Gemini, if you follow the path. So Gemini rules the lungs. It rules it's the branching off of the beginning of the spring into the summer. So it's like this transitional point in our outer world. And also it rules the lungs, which are the branches in the body. And it is the twins. It is a dual, it's construction and destruction, the two pillars. So it represents kind of this polarity and this way of looking at, in the body, it rules the hands also and the shoulders. So checking in with those parts of the body during that time. And I test myself for what salts I need. And I was needing calimur, which is the potassium chloride, which is associated with Gemini. And it cleanses the lymphs. It's for congestion, which I was getting a lot of from, it's like allergy season, kind of full blown. We've had a lot of wind here, so it's, spreading the seeds and doing all the things that need to happen for the spring. And yeah, so we can get like this congestion and it's clearing all that. And it also supports the development of the fibers that are all throughout the body, that we're like these fibrous beings. And Gemini is also a lot of, when I work with people one-on-one, I talk a lot about if they have a lot of Gemini in their chart, they're channelers of information. And, this can be positive or negative. And if you don't have enough grounding in your system, you can be really like caught up in information. And that is also the general feel of the environment, the outer reality, and the overlays of politics and all the social media stuff is like too much information. There's so much information. How do you know? And this is where we get in this axis point of this full moon, which is Sagittarius. And by the way, we don't have 2 full moons in a month. We have one at the end of this month. We have one at the end of next month. The moons, the sun and the moon are very specific in their movements, and they can be calculated and they can be counted on. And that's what, this trickster information of Gemini is trying to, fool you and be like, no, there's 2 full moons. Oh, that's crazy. No, there's not 2 full moons. Okay. So we'll still be in full moon windows, but the actual full moon is, 29 to 30 days. It's not doing things that, aren't predictable. Sorry, my cat was distracting. Do you have something to say? Meow. Okay. Meow. He has a lot to say. He's an Aries too. He's very focused on things like food. He loves his food. Okay. So, understanding the axis of Sagittarius, Gemini, is Sagittarius is the higher mind. So Sagittarius is intuition. And really, that's what we have to be developing more and more. And that's what my course really teaches, because once you understand certain things about the cosmology and the system that we are moving through, and this is old information, people long ago followed the solstices and the equinoxes. They followed the path of the lightest day and the darkest night. So, and it kept them in rhythm with the flow. So it's developing flow state. So there's a lot that can emerge from studying this this course, and you can join my course anytime. And it's one-on-one, and we talk about the energies of your chart and compare it to what's happening also where we are at in the wheel. And I use it as a tool to help develop your understanding of this tropical system. This comes from astrotheology. And so this Gemini Sag axis, Sag is the higher mind. Sag is also, it's a fire sign, but it is very mental also, because it really is a philosopher. There's a quest for truth, really understanding what is truth, and really moving in a way where you can see the big picture. You're like you're on top of the mountain. You can see the whole expanse and take it all in, and then make decisions that way. And Gemini, Gemini is the trickster. So we definitely have a trickster, and in politics, and they'll just like make it up as they go along. Like, oh, they just say what you want to hear sometimes. And of course, there is a lot of nuances to that, but it is an aspect of this reality that's really important to understand how much trickster energy we have going on through the interdimensional energies that are here. And I've been going down a lot of rabbit holes of non-human intelligence and really trying to understand the UFO thing and like what people who've been studying it for a long time say. And they've really delved into the anomalies, and there are a ton of anomalies here. So understanding trickster energy, and this is in all our mythologies, which are logical stories, mythos, logic myths. So there's a purpose to these stories, to help us understand how to move through this metaphysics of this reality, because there is the physical and the metaphysical, and it's all here, it's all one. So I'm getting a little quieter because I'm in the forest where there's all kinds of energies. And it's magical too, and it's positive and it's negative. It's both. It's this dualistic two pillar situation. And so, and part of the course is actually working with understanding the physiology and how your chart relates to your body, and how to create balance through that, because that's really important. We want to be balanced. We want to be grounded. We want to be connected to the elements, because we are the elements. Everything is inside of us creating the alchemy. We're alchemists inside our bodies, and there's alchemy outside. And I work with alchemy. I mean, I use shapes to change disturbed energy in people's systems. That's kind of wild, but it's also old. It comes from Egypt. It's was very well known long ago. So, reviving these sciences, these ways of understanding this reality is really key. And developing the intuition. Now, intuition is like very much like the still small voice that says, oh, do this and do that. Some philosophers call it the daimon, the Daemon, that there's this force moving through people that are guiding them to do things. And the cool thing about channeling and channelers is you can just be like, there's many stories about, poets like writing poems, like all of a sudden a poem is coming through and then creating. And that's amazing to create through this channeled source. So there is a lot of positive and negative aspects to it. Other things are, if you have a lot of Gemini and you're, like can't sleep because you've got so much information running through you and you don't know what to do with it. So that's when it becomes about developing the earth parts of your chart, or developing a practice with the earth to help you ground yourself, because we want to be grounded in this reality, and understand like what we're living in and what's around us and what energies we're running, and how to harmonize that, because there is a way to harmonize disturbed energy. So, I mean, that's the work I do, and I'm still blown away at how amazing it is and how simple it is. So, we have to, utilize these old systems that really had a lot of incredible knowledge, and not to allow them to be lost. And working with the 12 Signs of the Zodiac, the Salts of Salvation book, it has given me so much information that is like this one book. It is amazing. I mean, some stuff is like, it's for that time, and I don't relate to it, but also there's a lot of timeless information in books. This book from the 30s talks about, all this information floating around and how to be discerning, and how there's so many different diseases that the doctors are coming up with, these names of diseases, and really it's deficiencies in minerals. And they talk about the age of Aquarius back then too, like it was just coming on back then. I've even seen in the 1800s, there's a book from the 1800s, The Light of Egypt. They talk about the age of Aquarius coming on. And it's like, how long have we been having this age of Aquarius thing? And it just kind of speaks to the looping of the cycles. So there is a circular energy here. There is a vortexing energy here. All plants grow in the vortex. This from spiraling in to out, and that is also the toroidal field. So that is the metaphysics that's here. The toroidal field is the vortex, is the Vesica Pisces, two circles coming together. It also is the spiral, the vortex coming together. What was the other thing? Oh, the infinity symbol. The infinity symbol, the analema, and the moon and the sun move in the shape of the analema, the infinity symbol. Wow, that's amazing. So geometry has a power here. Understanding geometry, visualizing geometry to put yourself in protection. The other day I was envisioning myself in a five-pointed star, because it perfectly aligns with the head and the arms and the legs. If you stand out like the Leo da Vinci's I can't remember the name now, but the man, he puts him in the star, and the star is like a symbol. It's not pagan or this or that. It is a symbol of a geometry that is very protective. In biogeometry, they call it protects you from, see, I'm getting the confirmation there from the bird. It protects you from psychic attack. So I feel like there's a lot of frequencies happening. So does that bird. And that we have to protect ourselves from the inundation of frequency, of energy from electricity. Yep, I'm getting that confirmation. Because it is important. We are being inundated. And I'm in the country, yes, but I still feel it. I feel also when we have a lot of visitors here, I could feel this change in the energy field. So it's interesting, just observing vibration. And that is part of intuition too, so you can move through this reality, understanding what vibration is happening and why it's changing and why you feel this and that. And then use sacred geometry to balance out. So I hope you have a good full moon. Full moons are threshold points in which you can hold a vision and set intentions and clear, release energy. So it's a good time to focus on what you want to release, allow it to go, call in the new vision, and break your pattern. Do something totally different and walk a different way from the car to your house. I don't know, do something totally different that will help create that new reality you want to create, because it is possible. It takes trust. It takes confidence. If if you're confident in your vision, you can do it. Also, if it's in alignment with, sometimes we have our own agendas, but that's where it gets into getting help from the intuition or the daimon or whatever this life force that's moving through us, tuning into that and working with it because it will help you. Okay, thanks for listening to my videos. And if you have any comments or questions or anything like that, let me know. You can see my website has all my information, courses, all that stuff that I'm offering. Take care.